right, the next character, da, it has a broad range of meanings to hit or strike something. So here we have a radical on the left side, which is ti shou pong. Ti to rise up, shou is hand, and pong means to the side. Ti shou pong. So it's shou, when it's written as a radical, is going to look like that. It's a very common character used in a lot of verbs that have to do with human action. The right-hand side is ding, nail. You can see that it looks like a nail. So da, hung, shugo, ti, hung, shugo, da, da 电话 to use your phone. Wei. So in this case, the left-hand side is a mouth radical. We'll get to that in a second. The right-hand side is a depiction of a ghost. Wei. Now, why is that a ghost? Because you've got a depiction of the head. This is usually tian, or field. And then the bottom part is jua. This character is like this. The hand, this means claws, but it's turned to the side and then written like that. So it's a head with claws. Isn't that scary? And then the mouth radical to indicate you're just using the sound of it, not the meaning. So this is what you do once you answer the phone. You say, wei, mouth, shu, hung, ja, hung, shu, hung, ja, hung, shu, hung, and then hung, shu, go, dian, na. The next character, dung, means to wait, but the component on the top is a depiction of bamboo. So that looks like it could be two sections of bamboo. Remember the character for ga, and it sort of looks like a bamboo section. So it may be two sections of bamboo together. And then as a component, when this appears on the top, that is bamboo. So what does that have to do with waiting? I think originally it meant a basket or a woven lantern. And then it was borrowed for the sound. Now the bottom component is composed of these two parts. Tu or earth with cun or inch. This component usually is pronounced shi, but it's in this case, I don't think it's related. I think a bunch of things were put together and connected. So si, this is pronounced si on its own. It means temple and has a number of other phonetic uses. So let's do dung. You just need to remember that it means to wait. The mnemonic, waiting around, like being hung in a basket or something. Okay, so we've got pie, hung, dian, pie, hung, dian, hung, shu, hung, shu, ja, dian, dung. Next character, jur, to know something. The mouth radical on the left shows that you are using something just for the sound of it. This is a depiction of an arrow. And I think anciently it looked something like this. Sure, this means, and I'm just guessing, of course. So this is the modern component. This actually means arrow is pronounced sure. So the mouth radical to the side shows that it's just being used for its sound. Jur, to know. So pie, hung, pie, na, shu, hung, ja, hung, zhi, to know. The next character actually depicts something that is a word in English. So this, look it up in your dictionary. The Tao, the way, or the power of the way. So what you have here is the walking radical. We've seen that before. So it's simplified and reduced form of this character, which also looks like just to walk. So it's often called the zhou zi pang. The other component is a depiction of a head. So you've got the eye, someone's eye, meaning a person, with a headdress. So like a medicine man or a shaman wearing some kind of antlers or headdress to do some action. But here it's shou, that just means head, shou, and then zhou zi pang. So a head walking, a head going down the road, that's the road, the way, the path. So Tao can mean, it can mean just a way to go, a path, a road, or it can mean the great Tao, the secret of the universe. So we start with, and it's also in zhi Dao, to know what to do, just to know. Dian, dian, heng, dian, shu, heng, zhe, heng, 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 dian, heng, zhe, na. That's a long na stroke. Dao. Xie. So we've got the famous speech radical here, and then the other component is made of two parts. This component is body, shen, and it is actually a depiction of someone with a fat belly. And then we see this cun, which is the right, it means inch, depiction of a hand with a mark on the wrist because it's the narrow element. So these two characters together are phonetic. When you put shen with twin, this means to shoot an arrow, sha, and you paro that sound with the speech radical to mean thanks, to express thanks. So dian, heng, shu, go, pie, shu, heng, zhe, go, heng, 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 pie, heng, shu, go, dian, xie. Ba. So the mouth radical again shows this is just used for its sound. This character is thought to depict a snake. I said earlier that it's a city, but either way, it's just phonetic. Ko, shu, heng, zhe, heng, heng, zhe, shu, heng, shu, one, go, ba. Mong, to be busy. So we have a component here on the left. This is called ti xin pang, the heart radical to the side. So heart is usually written like this, heart or mind, but when it occurs as a radical on the far left side, then it's written in this form. I believe it's xin ti pang, or ti xin pang. The right-hand side is phonetic. It means to lose something valuable or to die. And it's usually some significant or severe loss in ancient Chinese. So if you put the heart beside loss, busyness is not considered a very good thing. Mong, You're so busy and preoccupied that you don't have the time you need. So dian, shu, dian, and then another dian, hung, shu, one long. Okay, the next character, zheng. This is composed of two parts. Yi is hung, a line, and the other component is zhi, which is foot, to stop, to be at a place. So zheng is the foot stopping at a line, to be precisely in a particular place, to make something right, to be in the process of doing something, to be exactly in the process of doing something. So zheng, hung, shu, hung, shu, hung. This is also used, this is the Chinese form of the hash marks you use when you're counting things up like this. In Chinese, they'll write zheng to keep track because they're exactly 5 strokes. Kan. Now the important thing on this to remember, well, I'll get to that in a minute. This is a depiction of a hand over an eye. So you're trying to see something. So the hand is written out like this, and as a hand, and then with kan, it's written over to this side. Now what I want you to notice is that the top part is a pie, it's not a hung, pie, and then also notice that the pie that follows under it is under it. It does not go through. There is nothing going through this. So one thing, and just about only one thing, really bothers me is when students write a stroke that goes through this line. Don't do that. It looks terrible. Kan. Okay, so let's try that. Pie, hung, hung. Okay, notice where I'm writing this pie. At or under the line, never through it. Shu, hung, zhe, hung, hung, hung. Kan. The next character has a phonetic component, which is the radical, and it is also a signific. So this character here is pronounced shi. It means to reveal, and it actually means like revelation in some cases, but also just to open up, to reveal, to unveil something. As a radical component, it's written like this. So that all of the strokes are there, but just in a different shape and squeezed together. There is another character that looks very similar, so this is shi, to reveal. There's another character that looks very similar, but it has an extra dot. That is E as in ifu. So you want to make sure that you distinguish these two. They're very different in meaning, and you want to get them straight. The right-hand side is jian, which we have seen already, which is a depiction of an eye, the eye of a person, or legs, whatever. Okay, so, shi, to see. We have the dian, hung, pie, shu, dian, and we've got shu, hung, zhe, and then for traditional or simplified characters, we just do a pie and then shu one. Go shi, as in television, dian shi. So we have seen another zuo before. We're doing a different zuo. We've learned this zuo as in gong zuo, to do work. Or it can mean zuo ye or zuo gong ke, to write things, to do that kind of work. This zuo means to make things, as in food or other things. Sometimes it's challenging to distinguish which one is used, but this one is more commonly used, and it is more of an active verb, more action. The right-hand side of this, gu, means story. It's called, it is composed of gu, which means ancient, which is sure over the mouth. And then this thing, pu, which means to strike, or the reversed one, just in case you want to try to remember all of these components together. This means to strike, this means ancient. You put the two together, it means a reason or a cause or a story. And then for some reason it is phonetic in zuo. And the renzapong, the person radical, is used because it has to do with human action. Pie, shu, hung, shu, shu, hung ja, hung, pie, hung, pie, na, zuo. This next character looks like a net, and it depicts anciently a net, and in modern Chinese it means a net. Just like that. So we can go through the stroke order again. Pie, hung ja, go, pie, na, pie, na. Wang. This next character is a very, very common character. Top 5 most commonly used characters, I believe, at least in the top 10. But it is such a common word, but the components don't seem to relate too much to anything. Except we have this component on the left, jing, which means the capital. The right-hand side is phonetic, and is somewhat related to a depiction of the right hand, which we've seen like that. You might be able to see some kind of connection in there. It's pronounced yo, and that's the phonetic in this case. Jing does not have anything to do with the meaning, but jing is like the character for city. We've seen this character before, a depiction of a gate tower. Jing is almost certainly the same idea, a depiction of a gate tower. And maybe there were 2 at one point, but there's still the same idea. You've got the tower that is protecting the main gate of the city. So that has been reduced into this shape, a cover, a mouth, and then various things on the bottom. Jing. Let me start a new sheet to show the whole character. If you can tie these components in and hold them and retain them forever, then that's a very helpful thing. Dian, hung, shu, hung, ja, hung, shu, go, dian, dian, hung, pie, shu, wan, go, dian, jiu. Next character, wei, measure word for people. This character is pronounced li. It means to stand. It's phonetic in wei. So you've got renzapong, the person radical. It is a polite measure word for people. Pie, shu, dian, hung, dian, pie, hung, wei. This next character means to stay behind. So, 留学, to study abroad, means to be left behind somewhere else. The component on top, or the bottom component, is tian. You can see how that means field, to be left behind in the field, or to stays or remains in it. The top part is phonetic, and it is just basically a counting term, a term used in counting. It's mao, but in this case it's used to indicate liu. So this is a little bit of a different kind of form than we've written. Pie, shu ti, dian, hung ja go, pie, and then field below. Shu, hung ja, hung, shu, hung, liu. And this next character, yen, speech, words, we've learned this several times already, so I won't go too much into depth on it. Dian, hung, 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 and then the ko. Shi. When we talked about the character for dung, we saw this component underneath, which I mentioned as a phonetic in other things, this part here. So in the traditional character, this is pronounced s usually, so the traditional character for time, you have sun, and then this phonetic, shi. This has been simplified to take off that 2 on the top for simplified characters. And it's just phonetic in the first place. So you have this twin, which is a hand with a dot indicating the wrist. A shortened form of this component, just for the phonetic aspect. So we have sun, shu, hung ja, hung, 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 shu, go, dian, shi. Ho. And this character also just means time. So this is made of several components. The right-hand side, we've seen arrow before, arrow, and it strikes an object which looks like a shelter or an overhang, but that has been adapted into this case. So we have several extra components here. We have the ren zapong, pie, shu, and then an additional shu, hung ja, hung, so that's where this has been adapted. And then the arrow, pie, hung, hung, pie, dian, ho. The phonetic component on this, mien, means exempt, and it's originally a depiction of a rabbit that has run away. So since the rabbit has run off, then it's exempt. That might help you remember it. You see the eye, you see the legs, and maybe the ears of the rabbit. So here, wan is just a phonetic component here. We've got the sun as the significant and the radical. Shu, hung ja, hung, hung, and then pie, hung ja, shu, hung ja, hung, shu. Fill the box, and then close it. Hung, pie, shu wan. Go, wan. Yao. Very common word with a lot of different meanings. It's probably anciently depicting a woman's waist. So this top part, they think, was actually depicting the waist of a woman, and then female was added to the bottom of it. Now, if that helps you remember it, that's great. I don't actually even see how that all comes together. It's just a number of components that are used phonetically. Hung, shu, hung, ja, pie, and then a shu wan, hung. Then we would do the pie, dien. If you don't do it, you won't get it in the right place. Pie, hung, yao. Next character, ge, to give or to do something for someone. The right-hand side that is phonetic is pronounced ha, and it means to unite things together. So we've seen pictures of the food pot several times now in the characters for, as explanations for characters for tong and for sure, to eat. And here we have it again, to unite, to bring things together. And that's a very close depiction. The thing on the left is silk again. Traditional characters written like this. An ancient depiction of a skein of silk. So to give develops connections between people. Hung ja, ti, pie, na, hung, shu, hung ja, hung, ge. That's it, lesson 9.